It's Saturday Night Live! Welcome to the new era of HQ Trivia. We're broadcasting live and in portrait mode and in living color from HQ Universal Studios here in Los Angeles, California. And we're joining in with 98 players. Let's see if we can be able to bring that up to 100. Anyway, that also includes, but not limited to, Tom, he is an evil genius white, Eugene Beyond, Eugene, great to see you, Her Majesty Princess Karen, Jack Hardman, Uncle Ron, and Tedster, who wants to remember Bird's Nest Soup. Don't we all? Anyway, if you have friends that have already jailbroken the app, then tell them to join in right now. And also tell them to follow the new management Twitter feed at House of Qs, that's House of QS, for all your game updates. I am the heast with the least, the man with the world's best laugh, longtime fan and 2.5-time host, and former manager of a House of Pies, Farad Muhammad. Chances are this is not your first time playing HQ, but you may not have played it in over a year, so here's a refresher on how the game goes. As usual, I'm going to give you 12 multiple-choice general knowledge trivia questions that go from easy to hard. You have 10 seconds when I start asking the question to tap your answer. Think quick, tap fast. If you get it right, you move on to the next question. If you don't, you should have one extra life that you can use in the game, except in the final question, to stay in the game. And you also have 2 erasers that you can use at any time of the game, again, until the final question, and to remove one wrong answer per question. And if you think you tapped the wrong answer and there's still some time left, you can swap your answer as many times as you want until the time is up. If your answer is wrong, you're out of extra lives. I'm afraid you would be eliminated for tonight's game. However, if you answer question 12 correctly, you will win or split the cash prize of 25 smackaroos and be among the first winners of HQ Trivia in 2024. This time for real, hopefully. Knock on wood. Now, a quick reminder, this is not an official HQ Trivia game, nor is it produced by HQ Trivia LLC, and we do not have your money or prizes from the pre-2023 edition of the game, I'm afraid. I'm very sorry. Also, stick around after trivia ends, because we have a special video treat for the HQ faithful out there, edited by HQ superfan Daniel Wolken. Finally, this is an experimental game, so there may be a tech issue or flub here and there, but hopefully not. Again, knock on wood. We rewrote the back-end software from scratch using similar technology that the original HQ used for scaling, so it should be solid for tonight's game. Anyway, enough of the rigmarole. We've got 104 people. Fantastic. So with no further ado, let's do this. This is Q1, a video question right off the bat. This cartoon recently entered the public domain. What's its name? All Aboard, Michael Mouse, or Steamboat Willie? And time's up. This classic cartoon, released in 1928, is known as one of the first cartoons to feature a little-known character named Mickey Mouse. Never heard of him. It should have entered the public domain in 1986, but changes to the copyright laws kept it in the hands of the character's parent company for another 40 years. On January 1st, 2024, it was indisputable that Steamboat Willie became a part of the public domain. Steamboat Willie is the correct answer right there. And yeah, 86 of you got that one right. Fantastic. I'm just going to clear that extra life right there. Alrighty then. So, Steamboat Willie was also one of the first animated cartoons with synchronized sound in the film. Anyway, let's steamboat along the Mississippi to Q2. Another video question. Look at us showing off right here. The unexpected use of this song is commonly known as a what? An astley, a mistake, or a rickroll? I was just getting into that there. Anyway, the song of this question was indeed Never Gonna Give You Up, the 1987 chart topper by Rick Astley. But starting in around 2006, people on the website 4chan started to trick other people online into clicking a link to the Rick Astley music video when expecting to see something else. That behavior spread around so much on the internet that it was shortened to be called a Rickroll. Rickroll is indeed the correct answer right there. And 83 of you got that one right. Van-dantastic. Alrighty then. All the 83 of you were no strangers to that question. If you got it wrong, be sure to use that extra life there. Now, if you've played the first anniversary game back in January, these 2 questions are very familiar, but we're going to go a little bit different from here on in. Here's Q3. Which of these movies won the Academy Award for Best Picture? Chicago, In Old Chicago, or The Trial of the Chicago 7? That makes me want to say for Chicago, I tell you that right here. Great city, I tell you. But anyway, the film In Old Chicago, the 1938 disastrous film / musical about the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, good grief, was nominated for a Best Picture Oscar, but the award was given to The Life of Emile Zola. That leaves Chicago and The Trial of the Chicago 7. Chicago, the 2003 movie musical based on the Broadway play, was up against some very tight competition, including Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, Gangs of New York, and The Hours. Despite that, Chicago won the Best Picture Oscar, which means that Chicago is indeed the right answer. And 68 of you have the razzle-dazzle to make it to the next round. Alrighty then. Now, The Trial of the Chicago 7 was also nominated for Best Picture in 2021, but the award was given to Nomadland. All right, you're doing brilliantly. We've gone through a full quarter of the game. 3 questions down, 9 to go. It's time for Q4. At standard pressure, water at 100 degrees Fahrenheit is in what state of matter? A solid, a liquid, or a gas? Unlike racing in the grass, which is always a gas. Baby, can you dig it? Alrighty then. Looks like the chat is also in good form too here. All right. If you remember science class in school, you'll know that Kelvin and degrees Celsius are equal units, but at different values. Fahrenheit is a much smaller unit, and its water freezing point is at 32 degrees. At 100 degrees Fahrenheit, water is at the temperature that it would get in a hot tub, which means it would be in liquid form. So liquid is indeed the correct answer right there. And yep, a lot of you got that one right. A lot of you did not melt in the face of that question. Anyway, moving right along. It's now time for a dance break with the Disco 5. Question 5. Question 5. Question 5. Alrighty then. Apologies to Matt Richards. He did it the best always there. Anyway, here's Q5. Which continent spans all 4 hemispheres? Africa, Antarctica, or Europe? And no, sorry, Atlantis does not count in this one here. Alrighty. All 3 of these continents are in the eastern and western hemispheres. Antarctica sounds like a good trick answer for this, but it surrounds the South Pole, so it's all in the southern hemisphere. The reverse is true for Europe. It's all up in the northern hemisphere. But the only continent that crosses both the equator and the prime meridian, placing it in all 4 hemispheres, is Africa. Africa is indeed the correct answer. And 51 of you are globe-trotting to that next question. Brilliant. Always great to see a geography question get their due right here in this game. The next question sounds a little weird, but trust me, it's not a typo. Here's Q6. What is you? A demonstrative pronoun, an indefinite pronoun, or a personal pronoun? Unless you're in Pittsburgh, then it's pronounced yins, or if you're in Chicago or New York, then it's pronounced yins. Alrighty. These 3 types of pronouns are used to refer to different types of nouns or objects. A demonstrative pronoun is used to replace objects with position, like this, that, these, or those. Indefinite pronouns refers to something or someone that is not immediately known, like the words something or someone. Personal pronouns, however, are used to describe a person, that in order to determine contrast, a person, gender, number, and case. And these include he, she, it, they, us, I, and you, which means that you is indeed a personal pronoun. And yeah, most of you were not stuck in the most of you got that one right. You were not stuck in the conjunction junction. Stupendous. You know where we are right now? We are now halfway through the game, and that means only one thing. It's time for a sanitizer break. Sanitizer break. Sanitizer break. Oh, yeah. So fresh, so clean. That's right. We have the graphic, and dang it, we're going to use it. Let's continue on to Q7. Which of these words appears in the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution? Bail, jury, or uncommon? We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. All right. The eighth Amendment of the Constitution is not about a speedy trial by jury, so jury is not the word. The actual text mentions cruel and unusual punishments, excessive fines, and excessive bail. So bail is indeed the correct answer there. Oh, what do we have here? We have got our first savage question for you right there. That's a shame there. I am really sorry about that. But if you have your extra lives, be sure to use them for that question there. That was a bit of a tough one. I understand that here. Not all of you passed the Constitution test in school, I'm guessing here. Anyway, it's time for Q8, which means that it's time for a beverage break with Nate the 8. What's up, Nate? How you doing there? There isn't a man, woman, or child alive today who doesn't enjoy a tasty beverage. Anyway, here's Q8. In the ocean, which of these zones is closest to the surface? The Hadal Zone, the Midnight Zone, or the Twilight Zone? Mention not a sightless sound, but of mind. All right, time's up. The Hadal Zone is named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, and is the deepest level of the ocean, around the area of the Marianas Trench. So which level above the hadal zone is closer to the surface? Well, those zones are named for roughly how much sunlight goes through. Sunlight gets dimmer as you go deeper, and the midnight zone is the depth where sunlight ceases to be seen altogether, which means that the twilight zone is closer to the surface, and therefore the twilight zone is indeed the correct answer. And yeah, most of you did not get sent into Davy Jones's locker on that question. Alrighty there. Now, if you're still in the game, you're doing fine. In fact, you're simply divine. So let's get in line for Q9. Who spent the most weeks at number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 in 2023? Miley Cyrus, Morgan Wallen, or Taylor Swift? I don't know any of their songs. We're not going to sing it in the middle of this question. Anyway, Miley Cyrus's Flowers dominated toward the beginning of last year, topping the charts for 8 weeks. Morgan Wallen's Last Night took over and stayed at number 1 for 16 weeks. But Taylor Swift, with 3 songs hitting number 1, Anti-Hero, Cruel Summer, and Is It Over Now, spent the fewest weeks at the top spot with only 7 weeks, which means that Morgan Wallen is indeed the correct answer. And yep, a lot of you Swifties out there that were kind of tricked on that one there. That was indeed another savage question. That's what I'm talking about right here. Yes, indeed there. Unfortunately, a lot of you, you never ever, I'm sorry, I got the good lines right. All right, we're in the realm of double digits. That's all I got to say here. And it's also 3/4 to the end of the game. So are you ready for some math? Because here comes Q10. Which of these is the smallest? 5 double factorial, 5 times 5, or 5 to the power of 5? Good old math right there. All right. As you might recall from math class, 5 times 5 is 25. And the 5 to the 5th power is 5 multiplied by itself 5 times, which comes to 3,125. 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 factorial. So all the numbers multiplied together, which is just short of a Google squared. And that's pretty huge. But I didn't say factorial. I said double factorial, which actually means multiplying all the numbers that are either even or odd, depending on the final number, up to the final number. 5 is odd in this case, so we multiply all the odd numbers up to 5, which is 1 times 3 times 5, which is 15, which is smaller than the other two. So 5 double factorial is indeed the correct answer. And oh man, yep. 2 of you got that one right. That's another savage question. That was a really, really savage question. I am so sorry about that. But yeah, there's a reason that we made this question 10. That's definitely a question for you to guess your life on if you haven't done so already. So anyway, it is now time for the penultimate question and the last time you can use erasers and extra lives. So here's Q11. Which of these universities is public? Rice University, University of Chicago, or Clemson University? Yep, I went to IIT in DePaul for my undergrad and graduate years, so they were both private, so I can't help you there. Anyway, if you're a longtime HQ player, this question might sound very familiar. It was actually asked twice, once in their very first game and once during an After Dark game. Oddly enough, both times they erroneously said that Rice University was public. It's not. So just a second to record straight, out of these 3, the only public university is Clemson University. Clemson University is indeed the right answer, and 3 of you have got that one right. And you 3 are now ready because it is now time for the final question. It all boils down to this. No extra lives, no erasers, just this question. Your smart brain separate you from the cash prize. So, take a deep breath. Here we go. Q12. In Yahtzee, what is the highest possible score in a single turn? 130, 140, or 50? Alrighty, I'm going to say Yahtzee a lot here, so bear with me. Normally, a Yahtzee is worth 50 points. However, if you score a second Yahtzee after taking a Yahtzee, you get a Yahtzee bonus, which is 100 points. Now, you can use a Yahtzee as a joker if you already put a score in a Yahtzee, like a 50 or a 0, and if you already scored a number in the upper section, like if you rolled 5s, but you already took your 5s. Follow me so far? A joker can be used to fill any box in the lower section, including a large straight, which would make it 100 points plus 40 points, or 140 points, which is indeed the correct answer. And 2 of you have managed to win the first complete new era edition of HQ Trivia. Fire up that rocket. That's what I'm talking about right here. Simply brilliant. Congratulations to both of you who won this evening's game. You each split the $25 prize, which comes to $12.50 per person. All right, let's take a look at those winners right here. We have got Beth Canever and Urban Sombrero. You two have managed to win the first new management edition of HQ Trivia. Congratulations to both of you. You did really, really well. And I hope the rest of you had a lot of fun playing as well. Anyway, this was an absolute pleasure and an honor yet again. Thanks as always to HQ New Management for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to all of you for joining me. You're all winners in my book. Now remember to stay tuned after this trivia game ends for a special video presentation edited by HQ superfan Daniel Wolkin, a tribute to the game we know and love, and that's in your hands right now. And at 1:30, we got a game of HQ Words coming up, so be sure to follow the new management team at House of Qs, that's House of QS on Twitter, to get notifications when we go live, since the app notifications don't quite work. We hope that you spread the word to all your friends to prep the app and join us so that we can have more HQ New Era games in the future. I'd really like to host as many of these as I can. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at FARDMohammed, and you can visit my website at worldsbestlaugh.com. This has been Farad Mohammed, and remember the Acme Triangle of Excellence: vigilance, dedication, courage. Good luck, gumshoes. Where in the world is